Hey, what's going on? This is John from the Maine, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
Finally reunited with John from the Maine. I have to say, I'm pretty sure the last time that we were together was 9 years ago on the Chain Reaction couch.
Goodness. Well, this is probably a nicer couch than the Chain Reaction couch. Yeah.
Yeah, the Chain Reaction, we didn't know what really went on that couch.
It's probably just as sticky. I don't know. You can kind of feel like, I don't know. But it's good to see you.
Likewise. Now, congratulations with the new album. This is another masterpiece that you guys are constantly creating. Tell me a little bit about, kind of kickstarting the writing process of this record. And like, I feel like Sticky was, you kind of mentioned before, like was kind of where the album kind of started. Is that also what gave you the identity of the record, or did you guys find the identity after writing Sticky?
I think it certainly helped mold the sound, and also kind of checked a box. Not that like we go by like, hey, we wrote a song that sounds like this, let's cross it off the list. But it was more or less like it filled a void. The writing process started pretty much in January of 2020. What year is it now? Wow. It's 2021 now. We were in Europe, and I was actually able to write on the road for the first time in a long time, and brought a bunch of ideas back, and then I came out to LA, I wrote Sticky, and then we recorded it pretty quickly, and then that was kind of like you said, like the bar to kind of try to jump higher then. So yeah, it was kind of a similar process to most other records, but obviously the circumstance of everything made it completely different. Right. So yeah.
This time around, you guys got to also work with Andrew Goldstein, and you guys have been friends for a while. I'm pretty sure you guys have toured together before with his old band.
We definitely played shows, yeah. But I hadn't seen him in, God, I mean, longer than 9 years, longer than Chain Reaction. So it was, but he's such a homie. It's like we had met, and we know so many of the same people that it just felt like we had already been good friends for a long time. So it was, we picked up 4 hours, and that was kind of it. We wrote that song together in about 4 hours. So it was, it was quick, and it was awesome to work with him. And then to kind of see all the other things he's been mashing on like recently is crazy. So, it was a really cool experience, and it was nice to finally reopen ourselves to the idea of writing with other people. Right. We're pretty precious about the band and who the Maine is, and it was a refreshing kind of new take on having other people involved and kind of giving up some of that real estate. Do
you think that if it was someone else other than Andrew Goldstein, this probably wouldn't have helped you guys start co-writing with other people, just because you have that kind of like chemistry with him already?
Yeah, I mean, I also got to write with Colby Wedgeworth, who had done...
He's been producing most of your stuff before.
Yeah, he did Pioneer, American Candy, and Lovely Little Lonely, and it was nice. Yeah, I don't know if it would necessarily work if it wasn't with people that you at least share some stake of what you're doing. Like they know how precious the band is. They know how precious all the elements of being in a band are. So I think you're probably right. I'm definitely in the headspace now of just wanting to collaborate and like wanting to work with a lot of people. And I think they're definitely the catalyst that kind of helped me and us get into that mindset.
Now, with the fact that like over the years, you guys from early on, you guys had from Matt Squire to Howard Benson to Colby, and now it seems like you kind of started to co-produce stuff on your like the band itself. So how have those experiences kind of helped you prepare the band to kind of create your own records yourselves?
I mean, every time that we set foot into the studio with a producer, you're learning, even subconsciously, you're learning tricks and their approach and how they get from A to finished product, in their own way. So I don't think we really applied like any specific exact styles from any of the producers, but I think inevitably it's all there already. There are things that we loved about all the producers that we worked with, that we implemented in our own process and in our own way. It's, and to be honest, like I've said it before, but we really didn't have time to like worry about our ability to produce this record because we knew we just wanted to get it done, and we knew we had to record. So we didn't have a lot of time to freak out about the idea of if it was going to be good or not on our end, like if we were going to be capable enough of recording. So it's definitely one of those experiences now that we have it under our belt, and now that we have a studio and we have the confidence now, I think people probably can expect a lot more music a lot quicker. That's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. And with the recording process of this entire album, what would you say like was the biggest challenge for you guys, either as a band as a whole or you personally with like writing these lyrics or even vocal wise?
Yeah, I mean, other than the obvious logistical, jumps we had to kind of navigate, I guess the hardest part is the idea that it's our 8th record, and it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, how do you differentiate this record from any of the other ones? And I think one huge staple we always try to kind of tiptoe is the idea that we don't want to recreate ourselves, recreate something that we've already done. And I think that motivates us to try to be innovative in our own process, which is why we would want to produce the record ourselves and why we would want to make a record in Arizona for the first time. So I think, that's kind of the biggest hurdle. How do you make this exciting and familiar but brand new at the same time? And I hope people, dig it as much as we do, because we've been sitting with it for over a year and kind of just pulling our hair out. So it's exciting to have it finally out. And now it's like, well, do you like it? Yeah.
And so far, and that's the beauty of it, because I feel like nowadays it's more about singles, less about the full record experience. And lately I've been noticing that it's like, whenever I listen to a record and I can't pick a single, like it's because like all the other songs are just as incredible. And that's how I feel with this album. Like it's literally on repeat, and I can't say like, I want to listen to this one a little bit more. And so for you guys creating this record, especially because there were so many firsts, from producing stuff yourself, doing stuff in Arizona, having Colby transition from producer to songwriter, like what made this record so special to you guys that you knew like, okay, these tracks are the final tracks for the record?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've definitely had to, I guess navigate as well over the last 8 records. But it's like we set out to make a full record. We never set out to like, oh, we're just going to write one song and then none of the other songs matter. And now we're only, the emphasis on Sticky on this cycle is because we've had the opportunity to take that song to radio for the first time in our band's career. And to be able to open that new door, that's kind of why it might feel like we're making things a little lopsided, but hopefully now people, they have the record and they can feel the care and, all that we put into the actual full body of work and not just the first song. And that's actually why we put Sticky first, is because it's been out the longest. Right. People have had the longest to kind of digest it. If they want to put it on, they can just jump over to 2, so it's it's I don't know. It's just what's crazy is that this many years into our band, things can feel new. Like new experiences can happen, whether it's writing with new people or being on the radio for all intents the first time. Those are the things that like keep you, I guess, hungry, they're like, oh, something new can actually happen 15 years into our band, you know, and those are the exciting things that I'm hoping a lot more of those kind of pop up. So yeah.
Now, as far as instrumentation, like, I love the sonics of this record. I love how different it is within every single track. But for your drummer, how would you say, like, that was a challenge in the studio trying to keep up, because it's different kinds of tempos here and there. It's not all the same kind of outline.
Yeah, I definitely don't envy his position, and I definitely make it harder, and we'd make it harder, especially the way that we're kind of approaching the pre-production process at this point. Is it's a lot of just in the box, meaning on the computer, and it's a lot of just drawn and drums. So he has to kind of not only be comfortable with what either myself, or we are kind of drawing in, or, you know, he has to kind of come up with new fills on the spot. And it's really hard because it's a lot different than the way we used to do it, in that we used to stand up in a room together and kind of hash everything out, like, on the spot. And now it's but he's had some practice, so he's pretty pro at making it feel effortless. And and there's a lot of I think there are a lot of areas that we purposely leave open for punctuality and just improvisation, you know, like leaving it a bit more broad so that he can get more specific when he wants, and when it serves the song best.
Out of these tracks, where would you feel you were challenged the most vocally?
Vocally would have been Pretender, and not necessarily melodically, but lyrically is where I had the toughest time. I recorded that song first, and ended up, after writing the rest of the record, I ended up scrapping the whole lyrical content, and had to restart just because it didn't feel right. And it didn't feel right when I was singing it. It didn't feel right when I heard it back. And then, you know, upon kind of re-examining, we kind of got a bit more serious, and that was definitely the hardest one on the record.
So to wrap things up, you guys, the record is out now, and you guys are getting ready to head on the Sad Summer Festival with All Time Low. And this is a festival that, you know, we've been super excited about since before all of this kind of happened. So now that you guys have this new album going into this tour, did you guys completely change the set list that you guys had in mind for this tour, or is it still going to be similar with a little bit of the new record?
What's interesting is our set list is going to be rather short, so having upwards of, you know, however many hundreds of songs that we have now, or no, I mean 8 records plus however many EPs, we got over 100 songs. So to pick 9 of those 100 is pretty difficult, regardless of if we have a new record or not. So it's I think the biggest thing is that everybody gave up hope, thinking that this was going to actually happen, and now that it's like just around the corner, I think the excitement and the idea of it becoming a reality is actually setting in, and I think that's what's really exciting. So, you know, we're playing a show tomorrow, and it's going to be for like 50 people or something like that, and that'll be interesting because it'll be the first time in 16 or 17 months that we've played for anybody.
It's still unreal to think that all of that kind of like was the situation.
Yeah, I mean, the live stream thing we've done, but to have people in front of me is going to be awesome. And then we kind of get thrown right into the deep end. And Sacramento's the first show of Sad Summer, and there's going to be several thousand people there. So it's going to go from like 50 to a couple thousand. So we have no time to really try to remember how to ride the bike. You just got to go back onto it. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations with the new album. You guys be sure to check out the Maine on tour this summer, and thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.